Everything changed after he died. The veil was lifted, and the truth about pain on earth became very clear. What is the point of God letting people suffer, especially those who follow in his footsteps? A lot of people, including me, have been troubled by this question. I thought about it a lot and tried to figure out what it meant. But after my near-death experience, everything changed. My life, it was a journey with all the thrills of being in the military, the excitement of sports, and the chance to see the world. But in the background of my trip, there was a silent enemy, toxins. Because of what I saw and did while I was in the military, I now have inflammatory diseases that affect my heart the most. When I had heart failure, I was in the emergency room, on the edge of life and death. It was impossible to hear what was going on around me. Still, I prayed in that storm, not to stay alive, but to be accepted. At that very moment, something amazing took place. I felt love, peace, and joy all around me as a sudden calm came over me. It felt like the chaos around me was no longer there. Behind me, I felt a bright light that was warm and welcoming and pulsed with purpose. I couldn't say no to its pull. As I got closer, I became more aware. The light was more than just a guide. It was a call to something much bigger. As I got closer, I was swept up in a river of love that was so strong that it made me feel like my soul was stretching and growing to make room for this new level of feeling. After that, I wanted to see Jesus in this world of light. Right away, the light expanded to show a vast array of radiant beings, each one a tapestry of divine love and grace. Without a question, I knew who they were. Christ was also there. I knew who he was not by sight or name, but by what he was like. He showed me his face when I asked to see it. Even though I was meeting God, something strange happened. I couldn't hold on to his features. They were gone from my mind as I looked at him, leaving only the overwhelming brightness, the same glory I had seen before. I didn't understand why until much later. My human mind, which was limited by the fact that I was in the hospital, couldn't remember such holy brightness. We talked to each other without words, like we had an unspoken language that let us know each other's thoughts and plans. Even when I failed, he helped me learn from it instead of punishing me. There were 3 things that stood out. The first, prayer. Give everything you do and think to him. The second, accept pain, not reluctantly or with anger, but happily. No matter how big or small the effort, it should always be made without expecting anything in return. I learned that suffering is a way to love. Just like God gave up his life for us, love often requires giving up things. Finally, show your love to others. Care about other people, really care about them, with no hidden agendas and only a genuine wish for their well-being. Before this event, I used science as a crutch, looking for confidence in things that could be seen and touched. But after, faith became what held me down. Science is still useful and makes sense, but it can't touch the spiritual. Truth, love, and trust. They're real just like God, but you can't measure them. You might not be able to put a number on his presence, but you can feel him. Yes, I did. That feeling made my faith stronger, but I know that some people can have a strong faith without having such an experience. It's not possible to measure faith. It's something you live. The peace I felt, especially about death, made me more sure that God was with me. A lot of people are afraid of it, but now that I've looked at it, I see things differently. Accepting that death is inevitable doesn't make us weaker. It makes us calm, even when we don't know what will happen. When I thought about dying, I was scared, but in battle or martial arts, I never let fear touch me. This was different. As I stood there with God by my side, my fear changed into courage. I stayed calm even when the doctor said I might die. This was true even while I was in the intensive care unit, ICU. When you look at fear through God's eyes, it turns into strength. Why does God let those who follow him go through pain? A lot of people still think about that question. It's normal for us to want to avoid pain, but sometimes we can't help it. Life doesn't follow the same rules as sports games. If we could get everything we want without any problems, reality would lose its sharp edges, which would change how we see life. That's why pain is important. It pushes us, makes us stronger, and causes us to deal with change. In this way, we find happiness in places we didn't expect it, which is in line with God's plan, even if we don't understand it at first. This question came up for me too. At first, All I could think about was the suffering and how bad the pain was, but now I understand what it all meant. In heaven, God filled me with love, so much love that it healed the wounds of the pain I'd been through. All of a sudden, it made sense. God let me suffer to bring me closer to love and make my life better in ways I could never have imagined. That wasn't mean, that was kind. I thought of my family when I was on the edge of staying in heaven or going back to earth. But God showed me something very important. His love for them was so much greater than mine. He told me that he could take better care of them than I could. When I realized this, I chose to go back, knowing that I might have to go through more pain, but also more love. As I set out on my way back, the only thing that made me sad in heaven was leaving Jesus behind. Going back to the world I knew but now felt far away from made my soul feel like it wasn't connected. Still, I stuck to my choice because I was sure it was the right one. Going through the tube, I thought the end would be dark, but when I got there, I saw my hospital room ready for me. At that moment, I realized I had not brought anything to heaven with me, not even a broken heart. In life, I loved myself more than God, but I still loved him. When I looked into that hospital room, I felt a strange mix of hope and sadness. I was excited about the chance to live for God, but I was sad that he would no longer be with me right now. I could see tools all around my body in the room. The Lucas machine was compressing my chest, and there were tubes and monitors everywhere. It looked like they were giving up, but they didn't say a word. When I came back to my body, the link to heaven shut down. I was back in the chaos of life, with pain, noise, and distractions. Thank you all for taking the time to listen to this. You need to know this. God really loves you. Some of you may not believe that, and I get that. But I hope that one day you'll feel the love and joy that I did. That's my wish for all of you, all the time.